It's the yearning for wanting more, guys. You know, John Singleton is shooting this pilot about in FX about drugs in the 80s. Everybody's going to knock this out of the park now. Everybody's going to hit this topic, how this whole epidemic started. Everybody's going to hit this topic. And the part I read was about a boxer who wasn't doing shit with his life. And he looked up one day and he saw a Spanish guy come in with gold and rings and, you know, taking hundreds from people and tapping his nose. And he said, fuck getting punched in the head, you know, for $25 a fight. I'm going to go sell fucking blow. And that's what happens. I've met 1,000 drug dealers in my life. I was involved with drugs for 30 years. I met guys that were confused men that were doing drugs to get chicks and to get their dick sucked and to play the mafia role or the gangster role out. And I met guys who were businessmen, who were brilliant. Brilliant. I had a white dude in Boulder. That dude was brilliant, bro. He was selling a ton of fucking blow, but he was also building a business empire in the daytime. That's how he was fueling the money. For the stereo, he had the body shop with the fucking GPS. And he had the rims, the electric rims, so the snow would melt off your tires. This guy was badass. But if you call this guy at 3 in the morning, he was right there, bush-eyed, wide-eyed, selling coke. And I admired the guy. I still owe him $1,500.
Out of respect.
No, I've had drug dealers from every shape, form, and size. And I've learned something from each of them. I've noticed the ones that are suckers. You know, for 15 years, I just preyed on drug dealers. And all I had to see was an opening. And once I saw that opening...
No, continue this, but this is the point I was going to bring up.
Go ahead, what's the point?
How do you, as a drug dealer, how do you defend against what you made your living off of?
Being a fucking professional. Staying on top of your game, like anything else in life, because I'm not the only barracuda on you. What do you think? I'm the only barracuda on a drug deal? There's 18 guys watching you, waiting to make a mistake.
They used to sell drugs right across the street from my mom's house on 5th Street. And they were selling crack there all the time. And I would walk down the street to 4th Street to cut the cars off before they went to 5th Street. So I was stopping everybody, like, everybody was driving on 5th Street to buy crack. But me and my friends, you know what? Why don't we just stand on 4th Street and cut these cars off before they go to 5th Street? So, man, we started short-stopping everybody.
That's a genius move.
Yeah, and then after that, once everybody started going to 4th Street, we said, you know what, man? We're too fat to be chasing after these cars. Why don't we start selling drugs at 3 in the morning? So what we did was we had regular 5 pieces of crack, and then at 3 in the morning, we split them in half. So we doubled our money. So I would sell crack, bro. Like you think about how desperate these crackheads will come at 3 in the morning. Can I get a 20? And I would give them like a $5 piece of crack for 20. Because they'll take it. And, you know, those were the prices. And I was a little crazy little hustler. But sometimes, you know, my brother is bad because my brother Angel, that fool used to fuck up the game, man. He was selling almonds, bro.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's when you'll get
He was
killed.
selling with almonds with orange gel. So this fool will come back and shoot everybody. So I had to go back to 5th Street.
I had a guy that was putting orange gel.
That shit, dog.
I had a guy that was putting orange gel in coke for a long time. What's the other shit that they had before orange gel? There's a different...
Ambisol, the best.
You could freeze it.
Yep.
You could freeze. I don't know how he was doing it. Don't ask how to. I don't know the chemical balance. I'm not a chemistry. This is 30 fucking years ago. I knew this guy briefly, and I knew he was doing something with Ambisol because he told me he would take the coke into the city. I remember one of my first cocaine dealers. Every time I went to his house, this is why when I saw the movie Boogie Nights, I knew that dude. The dude with the robe, with the Chinese.
The Chinese guy with the fireworks.
I knew that was my first drug deal. His name was Patty D. Patty D lived around the block from me. He was my first drug dealer. I ran interference in between him and one of his relatives who was a cop. They were favorite cousins. But since he become a cop, he couldn't hang out with his cousin no more and pick up the goods because he knew they were watching his cousins. So I would see the cop in the afternoon after school, and he'd give me an envelope I'd walk over to Patty's, get what I had to get, take a couple bumps off the top, and at night the cop would come over and get his little envelope. That's how I knew the guy. So now, this is right after my mom died, bro.
15.
15. I'm hanging out at Patty D's house. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with Didi Quintero and his brother Carlos. And Carlos is his unofficial bodyguard. People thought Patty D was a little gay, but they weren't sure, you know what I'm saying? But everything... Salud me. Sorry about that, guys. My allergies. Every time he went over there, he had a robe on. And you didn't know. And he would sing songs and shit. Like he'd play music just like that dude in fucking Motorhead and Boogie Nights. That's what he plays, right? Same thing, bro. When you went over there, you knew you had to sit there for 20 minutes and get an ear beaten about the chick he just fucked that you never saw. You never saw none of his women. Mm-hmm. You just missed his bro. You just missed the hottest chick. I fucked her for 2 hours. She sucked my dick. I ate her ass. You just missed her. She would have sucked your dick if you got hit 10 minutes early. That's a control I have over women. What do you want? And then you tell him, let me get a gram. You know, I got $80. How much you owe me? Give me $80. And then you'd wait for a line, and he'd give you the smallest midget line. He'd do a big line. And in between that, he'd play music, and he'd start doing, like, the video dance to the music and shit. And you'd sit there bored to pieces, like, oh, no. When is he going to take his dick out so I can just kill this motherfucker? Oh, my God. And then he accused Carlos of breaking into his house. So the relationship ended. But I bumped into him on Facebook, and we friended each other. And then when he realized that I was part of the fucking conspiracy, he unfriended me. Unbelievable, these fucking people. He was the weirdest dude ever. Always had a robe on. 2 in the afternoon, 10 at night, and had just finished fucking a chick. You just missed her.
You missed her, bro.
Phantom chicks, though.
You should have been there, bro. She was hot, bro. I was doing blow off her nipples. It was awesome.
God.
Bit that bitch.
And then my high school teacher, the camel, told me that if I couldn't get a hold of him ever, he goes, I wouldn't tell you this, but there's a spot on 135th in Amsterdam. It's a discotheque downstairs. It's Colombians and Dominicans. It's the first merge. It's the first. The Colombians became partners of the Dominicans. I'm taking you motherfuckers back to New York, 1983. And you'd have to park your car in Amsterdam, and he'd have 15 guys out there as parking maids. There was no meters. No, there was no valets. You parked your car and you got out, and there was a guy right there. Okay, look, get it. Un poquitico perico. Okay, and you give him $5, and he'd walk you. That was their scam. They'd walk you to the discotheque, then you walk downstairs. The place would be packed. In the daytime, they would play Colombian music. But at night, they would play disco music. Whatever. If you're thinking you're too right. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.